Hello and welcome. I am Chakshu Roy and you're watching Lawyers in the Making on Rajya Sabha TV. Today on the show we are discussing the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019. Homeopathy is a system of medicine that includes the use of biochemic remedies. The bill seeks to provide for a medical education system that enables research and innovation in the field of homeopathy, increase availability of trained homeopathic professionals, and regulate these medical institutions. To discuss the bill, I have on the show with me Dr. Kumar Manchanda, Director General, Central Council for Research Homeopathy, and Dr. Neeraj Pasricha, National Vice President, Homeopathy Medical Association of India.
Namaskar.
By establishing a National Commission for Homeopathy, the bill aims to develop, regulate the education profession of medical institutions of homeopathy. The bill also sets up an advisory council to advise and make recommendations to the National Commission. The purpose of the bill is to repeal the Homoeopathy Central Council Act 1973 and to regulate the practice of homeopathy in India.
Currently, homeopathy practice is regulated by the Homoeopathy Central Council Act of 1973. The Act established the Central Council of Homeopathy to regulate medical education and maintain a central register of homeopathic practitioners to bring reform and innovation to the practice of homeopathy in India. The bill seeks to replace the Central Council and bring in a National Commission for Homeopathy.
I'm very happy the government has brought in the PG Net, All India PG Net. But once the merit is already decided, even then the students have to go to different states, enroll themselves and pay a fee, which might be a few hundred rupees to a few thousand rupees. My request would be that instead of burdening the students with different fee structures, it should be streamlined and it should be uniform.
The bill establishes the National Commission for Homeopathy with an advisory council with the purpose to reform practice and medical education of homeopathy. It's part of a larger push to reform medical education and delivery of quality health services.
See, in this NCH bill, there are many provisions for qualitative change to bring into the education sector in homeopathy. The first one is they are creating a new board. There are 3 boards. One board is basically on medical assessment and rating of homeopathic medical colleges. So these colleges have to fulfill all those minimum essential basic norms for running a college. That means they have to acquire all those facilities which students required during their education. That will improve their education sector. Second is admission to the colleges will be through the National Entrance Eligibility Test. Even for PG colleges, there will be a national level test. Even for teachers, they are now bringing a provision for their eligibility to be a lecturer. They have to clear at center level examination. So all these measures are going to bring a lot of qualitative change in the homeopathic education sector.
To reform the medical education, a common entrance and exit exam will be required to be cleared for admission. Additionally, a national exit test will be required to be cleared to get a license to practice as a medical practitioner of Indian system of medicine. Further, there will be a uniform postgraduate national entrance test which will serve as the basis for admission into postgraduate courses at medical institutions. The bill also proposes a national teachers eligibility test for postgraduates of homeopathy who wish to take up teaching homeopathy as a profession. The National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 was introduced in Rajya Sabha by the Minister of State for Ayush on January 7, 2019. The bill has been referred to a standing committee for further recommendations.
The current bill that we're discussing in the program today is a series of 3 bills that were introduced in the Rajya Sabha to regulate medical education in the medical profession of the country. Dr. Manchanda, let me start the program with you. So what is the homeopathy and how is it different from other systems of medicine?
Homeopathy is a very unique system of medicine that was discovered about 250 years back in Germany by an allopathic doctor. This system primarily treats patient on holistic basis, where we understand his mental picture, physical structure, as well as the disease one is suffering from. So considering all these signs and symptoms, we use specific drugs, and those drugs are used in relatively minute doses.
Okay.
As a result, this system is quite safe, easy to take, and is quite cost effective.
Okay. Dr. Pasricha, you are a practicing doctor. How does the homeopathy system of medicine differ from other systems of medicines?
So the basic difference is in the doses which we give, the preparation of the medicine, as well as the repetition which is required. The adaptability, suitability to the patients is very important. Allopathy treats the patients with a total different setup, that is antipathy. You have hypertension, anti-hypertensive medicines are given. Anything which they give, antibiotic, antihypertensives, anything you give, they add anti. We as homeopaths, we are grateful to Dr. Samuel Hahnemann who gave us this system, who was an allopath himself. And he gave us the system where we treat the patient holistically with an approach that we are trying to cure not only the body, not only the disease which is suffered by the body, but the mental symptoms as well as the subconscious level. That is also treated. And in this process, we are treating the DNA anomaly which is there in the body so that we can help the patient in overcoming those anomalies, benefiting the next generation.
Okay. Dr. Manchanda, how are homeopathy doctors regulated currently in the country?
When we got independence, we had possibilities of establishing all alternative system of medicine, our traditional system of medicine along with homeopathy. So we adopted a medical system where we gave opportunity that we should have a vertical type of system of education, where a person who joins a medical college, he has to be a homeopathic doctor. We give training for about 5.5 years of training in our medical colleges, followed by 3 years of post-graduation at par with any conventional or allopathic system. And now these colleges are presently governed by a bill that was introduced way back in 1973. That is Central Council of Homeopathy Bill 9 Act. And that was also introduced in Parliament after a lot of discussion. Now, what we have seen that over a period of 45 years of its existence, although the number of colleges of homeopathy has risen from about, I think, 50, 60 to at present, we are having about 235 homeopathic medical colleges, where about 15,000 students are getting admissions every year. In addition to, there are about 2,000 seats of post-graduation in homeopathy. It is being felt that the system needs some reforms. Why we need that reform? This is one of the very important. One of the reasons is that over a period of time, what we have seen, there were certain shortcomings in the existing bill. One of the shortcomings was that there was an overtly conflict of interest that was very, very apparent. And there was another shortcoming of the bill was that it was overtly democratic. Like,
okay, so,
yes.
so I'll have to interrupt you there.
Yes.
Will you explain for our viewers what do you mean by the conflict of interest?
Like, there was no barrier that if you are having your own college, you can still become member of the regulatory body.
Okay.
So, on one hand, you are having your own system and on institution, and you are the part of.
So you will be able to influence the system to benefit your own medical college.
There was a possibility.
There was a possibility.
And another very important thing was that you can see that we have amended this based on Central Council Act. This council has amended regulation, laid down this council has done a lot of good work also. As a result, homeopathy has been successfully institutionalized. But at the same time, the parameters on which we grade our colleges, the type of modern education that we need to add on, we have not been able to add on because the process is very long. Okay. Now with this bill, the process will be cut short.
Dr. Manchanda, do you agree with Pasricha Sahab? Do you agree with what Dr. Manchanda is saying?
Dr. Manchanda very rightly pointed out there were some shortcomings, and now the government with this bill is trying to overcome those shortcomings, and it is for the betterment of homeopathy. I would say that.
Okay.
I would definitely second
Very
that.
quickly before we head into a break, you also mentioned it is overtly democratic. The existing law was overtly democratic.
So the existing law, there were about 60% of members were elected from different states or from the university.
Okay.
And there were 40% nominations.
Okay.
So as a result, it is very difficult to fix even responsibility if there is some certain inefficiencies.
Okay.
So that needs to be addressed in a very, very executive manner, and considering the current situation.
So some kind of a balance between the number of nominated members and the number of elected members is what you would have proposed.
This is one of the very broadly, if we have to understand.
Okay. But anything else?
Like just small issue that when we started with this process of laying down the minimum standard of education, over a period of time, we have diluted the standards instead of strengthening the standards.
Okay.
So that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And we need to bring in a lot of modern information, lot of new knowledge that has been generated on research side and on science side, include in our curriculum. So
Okay.
I think with this new dynamic body, we will be able to do that.
Great. It's time for us to head into a break. When we come back, we will discuss the provisions and details of the different institutional authorities that are being established under the bill. Welcome back. The Homeopathy Bill seeks to regulate and standardize the education practice of homeopathy. The bill sets up an advisory council and national commission to establish certain standards of education and practice for students and practitioners of homeopathy.
The responsibilities of National Commission for Homeopathy includes developing institutions and ensuring quality education of homeopathic practice. Under this commission, 3 autonomous boards will be established. They include the Homeopathy Education Board, the Medical Assessment and Rating Board for Homeopathy, and the Board of Ethics and Medical Registration for Homeopathy.
You know, the way they are trying to make this commission is good, no doubt. But making VCs the member of the commission is of no logic. There should be homeopaths who can deliver the good things for the homeopathy, for the improvement of homeopathy. That is very, very necessary. If homeopaths are there, they can think of the upgradation of homeopathy, which is basic necessity. Instead of VC who are non-homeopaths, they can add or contribute something for the system. It is better that homeopathy should be there. And homeopaths, if they are there, they know the weakness of the system, where it can be improved. They can give better suggestions.
These 3 autonomous boards will carry out the function of regulating medical education, institutions, and the delivery of homeopathic treatment. The purpose of establishing these regulatory boards is to ensure that there is transparency and accountability in both the education system and for those who want to avail these health services.
The National Commission for Homeopathy will be having 3 autonomous boards. One board is exclusively going to take care of the curriculum requirement of homeopathic education in India. And another will be of Medical Assessment and Rating Board. That board is going to take care of regular inspections and approvals. And third will be a Board of Ethics and Registration. They are going to take care of ensuring the ethical practices by the registered homeopathic practitioners. Now presently, Indian homeopathy is being viewed even from abroad. And this commission will have necessary flexibility to collaborate internationally and even to design courses for the international community. So this will have an added advantage over the current dispensation.
The National Commission will comprise of a chairman, presidents of 3 autonomous boards, representatives from the Ministry of Ayush, and experts. Under the bill, the central government will constitute an advisory council for homeopathy. This council will facilitate dialogue between states and the Commission. Further, it will advise the Commission on measures to maintain a standard of medical education. Within 3 years of the passage of the bill, state governments will establish state medical councils for homeopathy at the state level.
Dr. Pasricha, how does currently homeopathy medicine get imparted to prospective students who plan to study in this profession?
See, as with allopathy, we have a curriculum of 5.5 years, 4 profs. That's same for every homeopathic college. Every homeopathy student has to undergo that. The way the education is being imparted, that needs to improve, because the students, when they come out to practice, they don't have the basic knowledge how to practice, because the exposure to the patients is very little. The teachers who have been teaching them, they're not postgraduates, they have not been upgraded, or the facilities available in the colleges, they are not up to the mark. I would suggest, with this commission coming, the standards of homeopathy should be uplifted from the level of getting into the college, standard of education to be improved, standard of the infrastructure to be improved, and standard of the teachers to be improved.
Okay. So, Dr. Manchanda, Dr. Pasricha points out that you can get into a college, but there should be some kind of a qualifying criteria for you to be able to graduate. After you're able to graduate, some kind of a board to regulate as to whether you're practicing well or not, and possibly something for teachers to be able to teach a minimum standard. So what is the bill doing about that?
So this bill has taken care of all these shortcomings. Like this, with this bill, this commission will be able to regulate entry into a medical college through NEET examination at par with modern system medicine.
Yeah.
This will be able to regulate quality of teachers through entrance exam for the teachers, that they necessarily need to qualify that kind of NET exam for
before they become
teacher.
And that is currently not there.
Yes, that is currently not there. And recently we have introduced also, partly. And then this bill will ensure that when you pass out, there will be exit exam, which is currently not there. Current bill is not having, like Central Council of Homeopathy is not empowered to do all these things in the current dispensation. So this commission will add this also. There will be a separate entrance exam for postgraduate admission at national level. So that will ensure quality of education. But I beg to little differ from Neeraj, that the situation of homeopathic education in all the colleges is not like that. There are certain colleges where we have relatively less clinical exposure. So through this bill, we will be able to better regulate them, because decision making will be very quick and will be primarily on the hands of few people, those who are appointed by the government.
And perhaps the idea of the new bill also is to standardize the education of homeopathy across the country.
Of course.
It should not be that some colleges are better than others. There should be at least a minimum standard of teaching homeopathy across, and
of
the facilities available.
Actually, the aim of the existing bill was also the same. But we have still not been able to achieve this target in spite of 45 years of running. Because decision making is very long. Here, decision making will be fast. You want to change syllabus, there will be an education board. Like first board, they can change syllabus over just with few consultations. Then there will be a rating and assessment board. They will take decision, they will give permission or not. That kind of situation will be there.
Dr. Pasricha, anything that you find missing in the bill that you would have wanted to see but is not currently there?
See, as Dr. Manchanda rightly pointed out, the things are coming up for the betterment of homeopathy. I totally agree with him there. But there are some things which, as a practitioner, I would like to see in this. First thing is the decision-making power. When it's there, the private practitioners who have been in the system for say 30 to 40 years, they should have something to say where the commission also finds them useful. Like they should be made guest teachers or they should be appointed as mentors. That's one thing. Second is, as already I have said, the fee, even after the
Graduating.
post-graduation, once you have graduated and you are appearing for the post-graduation, the level of that standard, it is already done. The merit is already made. But then again you have to go back to the state, again pay the fee,
Okay.
again the merit has to be made.
So how to reduce the duality of the payment of the fees and the merit, and how to make the process simpler is what you're saying.
Simpler, as well as it should not be a drain on the students.
And yeah.
Another suggestion I have is, whenever we have dedicated MOs who are looking after the dispensaries, running of the dispensaries and the hospitals, but not in most of the places. Doctors who are doing post-graduation, they are also appointed as MOs. If they have duty somewhere else, or if they have a class to attend to or to teach, they will not be there.
Their responsibilities should be fixed. They should not be split between, teaching a class and also running a dispensary or a hospital.
This is my suggestion.
Okay. Dr. Manchanda, so what is going to be the impact of this new bill onto the existing profession?
I'll tell you, another unique, like there are one or two unique features of this commission bill is that there will be a lot of interdisciplinary interaction,
Okay.
which is still missing. Now, in this bill, there is a possibility of having at least once in a year when we are going to talk to the National Commission of Medical Sciences, National Commission of Ayurveda, Unani, Indian System of Medicine.
So the
that
conversation
kind of
between other...
Then the eminent person from IITs, eminent vice chancellors from different universities, eminent persons from Indian Institute of Science, they will all be part of advisory council, and they will be able to give their input about the current state of science and current state of affairs, and that can influence homeopathic medical education in a big way.
Okay, so perhaps what you're saying is that the profession is going to get more richer in terms of the knowledge quotient that is coming in.
And another very important thing is that although homeopathy is practiced in about 70, 80 countries in different forms, but Indian educational system has a potential to go global. So that potential has not yet been realized.
Okay.
We are still working within country. We are trying to see within country that we should be able to maintain quality, do this kind of training, that kind of thing. But still we have not been able to impact homeopathy globally. With this, it is possible. Another impact what I see is that with this, our medical colleges will be able to produce high quality researches, which is still not the case.
Is not the case. Okay. We talked about the impact on the profession, and Dr. Pasricha, I want to ask you, what will be the impact on patients of homeopathy?
See, with this, the impact on the patient would be wonderful. Reason being the fact, the quality of the doctors who are coming out to treat the patients will improve. The quality of the researchers, as Dr. Manchanda said, the researchers right now are not getting that exposure. Now they will be getting that exposure. And best of all, the input which we have, like the students who are coming to us, because of the NEET, that will be richer in the form of educational qualifications. And all this is going to be in the betterment of the society as well as for the betterment of homeopathy.
Perfect. That's all the time that we have for the discussion on this bill today. I thank both of you, Dr. Pasricha, Dr. Manchanda, for joining us. It is time for us now to end the show. You can watch our shows on the RSTV page of YouTube. We will be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.